Welcome back to another video. So today we are back to review the new Kagurabachi chapter that just dropped. My voice might sound a little weird because I just woke up, but I just finished reading all of it, and we actually get a lot of reveals in this chapter, more reveals than I expected us to, and most of the questions I asked last chapter were answered in this chapter. So I'm definitely excited about that, and we actually get finally the groundwork really for the series and what the main goals are. And there's actually like two main goals that we're going to talk about as we go throughout the chapter. But let's head into it. The chapter continues off where we last left off, where it's Shiba and Chihiro that save that guy, and they're talking to the gang member about where are the sorcerers. And the gang member is not really trying to tell them, but finally is like convinced to tell them about the Hisaku, which is the group of sorcerers that attacked Chihiro and his dad 3 years ago. And the gang member is finally like starting to like tell them, but as soon as he's about to tell them, he actually starts like transforming, like his whole body starts like convolting. You know how that sorcerer in the last chapter had those trees? I think this is kind of like a mixture of that, because it looks like a bunch of like sharp trees coming out of his body. And as soon as that happens, Shiba notices that it's about to attack the guy they just saved. So he ends up like grabbing him and actually teleporting out of the building. And so Shiba goes back inside to check if Chihiro's okay, and Chihiro is fine. And you end up seeing the aftermath of the whole attack. And then Chihiro says it happened the moment he started to talk about the Hisaku. Shiba says they must have put a spell in his body. They're thorough, I'll give them that. So I'm guessing that it was the last sorcerer we just saw last chapter. I believe he's the one that actually put this spell on the gang member, and that's why he turned into that, or turned into the trees at this beginning of the chapter, because he was about to reveal important information about the Hisaku. Chihiro even recollects about how the sorcerers are like extremely top level people, like they're not going to be easy to fight. And the bank's panel, we get a 2-page spread, and we actually get to see like the damage that came from that spell, like all the trees, all the spikes coming out, and we even see the gang member's body, and it just looks really nasty, just a little grotesque. That definitely looked like a really painful way to die. Chihiro is even like kind of worn out from this whole fight, and Shiba like sees that and was like, dang, it's surprising that this kid is able to fight like this. He wasn't able to fight like that a few years ago. And then we actually get a flashback that answers like basically all the questions I had from last chapter. And Shiba talks about how Rokuhiro's workshop and house were protected from the outside by a magic barrier. And we see that there's like 3 shrines, and each of these shrines are basically creating the barrier around Rokuhiro's house. And that's why no one was able to like bother them or attack them. But then one day the shrines were destroyed, and Shiba rushes over to see the Rokuhiro workshop like on fire, destroyed, and sees Chihiro and his dad just on the floor. And so Shiba like runs out calling for Chihiro, asking like what's going on. And then Chihiro tells Shiba that there were 3 sorcerers, and they suddenly like came there. And we get to see the 3 sorcerers that attacked Rokuhiro. And we actually get the reveal of already one of them. And if you look in the back, you can actually see that that's the sorcerer from the first chapter. So we know that that sorcerer is definitely connected to Rokuhiro and Chihiro. So we already know that that's going to be probably an important one. I don't know if that's going to be the main big bad sorcerer, but that's the first sorcerer that we know is definitely involved with Chihiro's like dad's death. They also have cool fits as well. I think the one on the left is like maybe might be a woman. I think that's the woman character, and she has like some really nice shoes and a really nice like fit. But the guy behind Rokuhiro has like this, it looks like kind of like some samurai garb, and it looks really fire. So I actually really excited to see what they look like. And I believe we also see the woman's character's hand. She has like the black fingernails, and we also see that she has a symbol on her hand. And so far, for all the sorcerers, I don't think Shiba has a sign on his hand, but for the 2 big bad sorcerers that we've seen already, they both have symbols on their hands. So that's definitely gonna probably be an important thing later on for the sorcerers. Maybe that's like the source of their power that allows them to do all their chants and stuff. Or maybe it's just a tattoo just to show that they're together, that they're in a group together. And so after that, we actually get some explanation. So Shiba says, during the war, Rokuhiro forged 6 enchanted blades and sent them out into the world. After the war, he retrieved all 6 and hid them in the cellar under his workshop. and they're gone. And we see that all 6 katanas are gone. And then she was like, I'm so glad, Chihiro, you're fine. This wound, like, are you gonna be okay? And then Chihiro actually like recollects as well to the enchanted blades. And remembers a conversation he had with his father. And his father said, these are the enchanted blades. They each have a special power. And we even see one of them has like this rope over it. I'm guessing like it's more protection over one of the blades. So I'm assuming one of those blades is gonna be one of the most powerful blades, probably the most powerful blade that Rokuhiro has made up to that point. Probably the one that's going to be the most dangerous, that Chihiro's going to have the most problem dealing with. Cut back to Rokuhiro dead on the floor, and we see Chihiro like crying, saying like, who are these sorcerers? Do they know how much my dad cared about his katanas and saving people? And Chihiro just starts like bawling, just like venting to Shiba. And we even see the fish, I believe they're on the floor dead probably. A bowl of fish that Rokuhiro got for his son. And then Chihiro sees in his head the sorcerers and like starts to say that I have to show them like revenge, like I need to cut them all down and show them what my dad believed in. And then after that, we actually get a little panel where it says that the katana Chihiro wields now is the one Rokuhiro spent years completing after the war and gave his life to protect, the 7th one. So we're assuming that the 7th one is probably going to be the most powerful one, or maybe the one that we saw locked up in that case is probably going to be one of the most powerful ones. But I'm pretty sure Chihiro's sword and probably that sword are going to be the most powerful blades out of Rokuhiro's entire collection. And Chihiro is in his mind monologuing, saying since that day there's been no reliable information about Hisaku until today, that they finally have a lead. And then Shiba walks in the room telling them that they actually made it to Tokyo. So I forgot to say this earlier, but they said at the end before the flashback that they're going to be going to Tokyo. That's where the next lead is for the sorcerers. The chapter ends with Shiba telling him that we got to Tokyo just in time and that we finally got a lead, and there's been a sighting of an enchanted blade. And that's where the chapter ends off. With next chapter, we're going to see probably Chihiro or the start of Chihiro going against a person with an enchanted blade. It's probably not going to be the sorcerer that we saw from the first chapter. I'll be very surprised if it is, because that would be really fast, especially because we now know that that sorcerer, the one of the 3 sorcerers that attacked Chihiro and his dad 3 years ago. So I'll be very, very surprised if the person with the enchanted blade is going to be the sorcerer, but it's probably going to be one of the sorcerer's lackeys that he ended up like giving one of the enchanted blades to. So let me talk about the enchanted blades, right? So now we know that the whole goal of the show basically is for Chihiro to get revenge, but not only that, but to also retrieve or destroy, I'm guessing, the 6 blades that were taken by the sorcerers from his dad. And right now, all we know is that those 6 blades are enchanted in some way. So they probably have their own powers or maybe even their own elements. Because right now it's looking like Chihiro has like this fish water element sword. And maybe there's going to be other swords like a lightning sword or a fire sword, or maybe even more tree branch swords, like wood basically. And we don't know, but there's a lot more intriguing things that they can do with these blades. And then we also have the other goal of being able to stop the sorcerers, which we've already seen one, which we saw in the first chapter, the one with the tree branches, but we haven't seen the woman and also the person in the samurai garb. So it's gonna be definitely very interesting. Those are like basically the goals from this story. I'm very surprised that they revealed it in the 2nd chapter, but I think that's good to like lay your groundwork as fast as possible to let people know how the story's gonna go, because now we have a guideline of where it's gonna go and what's gonna happen. For now, for the first arc is Chihiro getting back his father's swords and also getting revenge on the 3 sorcerers. But I think that's everything I want to talk about for this chapter. There wasn't really anything else I can really speculate for now, besides that one sword, that one sword that's locked up. I think that's definitely going to be probably one of the strongest swords, or maybe the strongest sword, because all the other ones weren't really locked up as tight as that one. So that's definitely going to have some implications later on. But that's everything I want to say for this video. Thank you guys for watching the video. Leave a like, subscribe me, support content like this, and hit that bell button, post it consistently. And let me know what you think about the new Kagurabachi chapter, if you liked it, disliked it, or what theories you have down below. I would love to read y'all comments. And I'm going to see you guys next time. Peace.